Alright, I just finished probably the longest film. I think the longest film I've ever made. Um, and this one was a big collaborative effort with a whole bunch of my friends, and it was called Waldrick Fandango. Now, if you haven't seen it, it's on my main channel. It's pretty awesome. Everybody really, really loved the final product. But I wanted to talk about the, I don't know, kind of like the role of like producing it I had, and like how we actually made the whole thing, and why it took like 6 months longer than we thought it was gonna. But anyway, take you back to the beginning of 2025. Was the beginning? It was kind of like halfway through 2025. One of my friends finds a microphone in an op shop. That is the prop we used in the film. That's like a microphone that says "on air" on it, and it is really, really cool. And that gives him the idea to make a film about a radio host. And like when he first explained it to me, I wasn't sold. Like I thought this is a really crap idea, and I don't like it. It's just like I don't see the funniness in it if it's just like a radio guy and he gets fired. But then we decided to roll with it, and we create the like script, and we just keep coming up with the most like stupid ideas for this film. Like just we just keep adding to it and keep deciding, okay, we should have like a montage of conspiracy theorists, and we should have like have nuns and stuff like that. It's just like, so in the end the entire thing just was insanely cluttered, and there were so many just like random jokes all squished together. I think technically it's not classified as a short film because it's longer than 32 minutes, but I thought I'd just read out some of the comments I got here, such as, "What possessed you? How many drugs was bro on while writing this? What the hell did I just watch?" And then like people actually being nice to me. But yeah, we came up with this idea, and well, yeah, we wrote the script and we started organizing it, and it actually started off really, really quick. Like I think like in 2 days in the school holidays, we did like a bunch of filming, and we got it like a third of it done in just like 2 days. And I thought like, wow, okay, so at this rate, we're gonna get it done by like August. So I make a trailer that says it's okay. No, so let me just clarify something really important here. The trailer says Waldrick Fandango, and then underneath it it says August 2025. Now, the August 2025, that had nothing to do with the other text. That was just, it was just a month that I find very interesting. August 2025. It's a very fun date. So the film didn't release on August 2025. Why would you think that? It was completely unrelated. But anyway, yeah. So it ended up getting delayed because, yeah, we just, like, couldn't, like, once the holidays ended, organizing it was just way harder with all the people. And, like, there's about 10 people in it. Now, that's low when you consider the fact that there's, like, over 20 roles, so everybody had to multi-role as, like, 2 or 3 different characters. Apart from me, I just played with the one main character. But, yeah, so, like, there were so many people to organize with, though, and just every time I'd try to organize something, somebody wouldn't be free, or people would be busy, or people just didn't really want to come. And like over the months, people just got less and less motivated because the things weren't happening as often, and then people weren't the things weren't the shoots weren't happening as often because people weren't motivated to do it, and it just kind of turned into the cycle. And then the other like lead director that I was doing it with, it was just my friend, he like left to Germany for like a few months over the summer holidays, so we just kind of, yeah. And then like I basically said, like, I'm getting really sick of organizing this because I'm not a good leader. Like, I'm not good at leading things, and I didn't really want to be the person in charge of organizing it. But the other guy just left to Germany. So I basically just said, like, okay, I don't want to keep doing this. If somebody else wants to take up the role of organizing it, go ahead. But for me, I just don't feel like it, and I just think what we've done, the scenes that we've filmed, is probably good enough. And the entire finished film will probably never exist. And I said, yeah, so if anybody else wants to organise it, then go ahead. And nobody did for like 3 months. So I just said, alright, fine, I'll do it myself. And then, I just ended up organising a few final recording sessions to get everybody... Not recording sessions, I've been too much in the YouTuber mindset. Filming shoots, we call them. Which is also fun, because it was really just people hanging out. And we got like most of it done, and then there was just tiny little bits we had to, follow up with a few people that ended up taking ages to organise, just because people are never free. But we finally got like 95% of the film done, and then I just said, you know what, the extra 5%, let's just forget about it. And I ended up cutting out quite a few scenes. It was actually more like 10% of the film we ended up cutting out. So yeah, there were lots of bits that didn't end up making it into the film, but were written in the script. And probably the biggest one was the final chase scene. That was going to happen right at the very end. And the idea, like, I came up with the idea for it, and I was really looking forward to filming this, and I thought this is probably going to be the coolest scene, the peak of it all. And it was basically Waldrick was going to get a radio broadcasting equipment into a backpack, and then he was going to be running down the street, running away from like the 20 different bad guys, while broadcasting on the radio, doing his show, and also like trying to call for help on the radio, saying like, I'm on the corner of Ghuznee and Huber Street, please come help out. But then like that would attract more bad people, and like the nuns would join in and the police would join in and stuff. And all the while that playing with Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard by Paul Simon, which is one of my favourite songs. And that scene we ended up cutting completely just because we didn't have enough time to film it, and there is one scene from that film, one bit from that scene that we did end up filming, and it's actually in the trailer, but it never ended up into the actual film. And the other big scene that we ended up cutting out was the rap battle. So, I think, did I have this idea in a dream? Something like that. It was something quite random, and it just, the thought just came to me of, like, this scene where Waldrick and one of the bad guys gets into a rap battle, and they just start rap battling to each other about stuff that happens in the film. And I just, really, really wanted it to be, the film basically just takes a pause, the rap battle happens, and then they go back to the actual film. And it, everybody to be involved in it, maybe the nuns to be in the background, singing back into it. And I thought this idea could be possible, because I have a close friend who's actually in the film, who does do music and has written diss tracks and rap music in the past, and is really good. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. And that friend, I just know him. He's gonna be throwing himself at every opportunity to get involved in this film. He's gonna really want to. So I said to him, can you write a rap battle for this film? And he was like, yeah, I'd be totally down to do that. And then he didn't, for ages. And I don't really like to nag people, but I did ask him 3 or 4 times, oh, how's the rap going? And he's like, oh yeah, I haven't started yet, but I'll get onto it. And then, yeah, and in the end, it just never ended up existing. So I was just like, okay. So then in one morning, me and another friend just wrote a cover of California Girls by Katy Perry to play there instead. And I didn't really want to do a proper song because I am a terrible singer, but rapping music is slightly easier, especially if you just know the words, coming up with them on the spot. That guy did end up sending me a rap. I think he wrote it in just 2 hours while we were filming other scenes. But yeah, I just looked at it and thought this isn't very good. And I couldn't write anything better in 2 hours. And I know that guy is way better than that, but it's just because he was time pressured, he couldn't write anything good enough. But we still had heaps of fun. there are so many scenes you can just hear the person behind the camera just laughing because of how funny the scene is. Like, I ended up having to cut out a lot of audio of that happening during the scene where I'm like beating up the nun in the bathroom and I flush her down the toilet. So like, oh yeah, and another thing that happened right as well, like we before we came up with names for all the characters, and in the script a lot of them were just named like stuff like first RNZ host or like second nun, like, and one of the characters was called Second Sister for, yeah, part of the nuns, the Second Sister, and we forgot to change that to an actual character name. So there's just a bit in the film when Tom's character goes, "Second Sister, after him!" We just thought, like, actually, no, that's really funny. That, like, one of the nuns would just call their fellow nuns Second Sister or First Sister. They don't, like, doesn't actually know the names of the other nuns. And I had the also very big job of editing the entire thing, which I actually do find really fun. I really like editing things, and it meant that I didn't get to, like, see the entire thing finished for the first time, but also, you know, it was still really fun editing it. I had to replace a lot of the scenes that we cut out during editing. So there's just like a bush near my house I just ran into and did a bunch of interview scenes with just a fake beard that I had. And some of the scenes were actually filmed in the Tararua Ranges, which is cool. Because we were just going on a tramp there and thought, oh yeah, we could film a few scenes there. That could be fun. And I think that's all I have to say about Wardrobe Fandango. This is week 2 of my weekly one-person podcasts, as I like to call them. They're just commentary videos. And this time I'm not recording while playing Splatoon at the same time. I'm doing it separately, because last time I found it a bit difficult. The other thing I just very, very quickly want to talk about is beekeeping, because I went beekeeping yesterday, and it was just, like, really cool, and I think people should go beekeeping more often. So, like, what happens, right, is that there's, like, this beehive, and it's got different sheets where all the bees go into, and they create honey, and, you know, honeycombs, that stuff, sort of stuff like that. But it's, like, surprising how well-developed the bee society is. They've got, like, a whole, you know, system of pheromones that say different things. You know, there's one that says, like, guys, watch out, there's an intruder in the hive, there's, like, some bee that's come in that's from a different hive. And then all the guard bees come around and just kill that bee, and they can tell which bee is from the hive because each hive has its own slightly different, unique pheromone. Queen bees also release a pheromone just to, like, attract drone bees from other hives to come and mate with them. So yeah, I just think that bees are kind of awesome, and they do this, like, dance thing to show other bees where food is. They'll, like, go around in circles and wiggle in the direction of food, and depending on which direction they're facing in relation to the sun, they can basically just tell bees. I don't know, it's hard to describe without showing people. But yeah, I went beekeeping the other day, and I got to wear one of those big white bee suits, and yeah, some, like, just, like, old guy just took us around, pulled out some honey. We got to eat some honey as well from the hive directly. It's like was really, really sweet, and I don't know if that's because that honey was slightly different, or if it was because I was just eating honey by itself, and I don't usually do that, so it might have just seemed a stronger flavour than usual. As you may know, honeybees, the honey in a hive will taste different depending on the type of flowers that the bees will pollinate from. So the honey that we were testing was polyfloral, which just means many flowers. It just kind of we don't really know what's in it. It's just kind of all the flowers are around here. But New Zealand's quite famous for the manuka honey, which is from the manuka tree.
and that makes very nice sweet tasting honey that the Australians are trying to rip off. Bloody Australians. Of course, first pavlova and now honey. But yeah, I thought beekeeping was pretty fun. I kind of want to be a beekeeper when I grow up, if it wasn't for all the reasons I don't want to be a beekeeper. So, alright. Buzz you later.